Well, we're looking forward to getting back on the field this Saturday and play in front of our home crowd. Bye weeks are never a whole lot of fun when it's happens after a loss, but that's life, and we got to live and learn and try to find ways to improve and get better. There are plenty of things that we need to do to get better. So I think this past week was used to get guys as healthy as we can because that's very important as well. And then to try to identify the weaknesses we've had and make sure we're getting better in those areas and improving. So I do think offensively being more efficient in what we're doing needs to happen. Winning the turnover battle is vital to success. You saw it in the Notre Dame game. It definitely helped us. And, of course, in the Pittsburgh game, it hurt us that we turned the ball over so much, uh, especially when you play in a game where you have twice as many first downs as the other team. And the turnovers were crucial and really hurt us. So that was unfortunate. Defensively, you know what? I think we've been playing some good football. Of course, this team last week was able to hit some big plays on us, and we do play an aggressive approach. So you may give up one or two every now and then, but we gave up too many. And the other team was way too efficient on first and second down to get to very manageable third downs. That hurt us. And then on special teams, we missed a kick, which is going to happen. But we've had too many penalties on special teams, so we got to make sure that it gets cleaned up. Beyond that, we know we're facing a great Duke team that's lost to two quality opponents. They're really strong on defense. They pride themselves on running the football and letting their quarterback be efficient and drive it down, keep the game close. They're well coached. So this is a tough physical football team. They've played very, very well this year. And in order for us to win, we're going to have to, play our best football. So we want to work hard to improve as the season goes on, and if not, then it's not going to be a fun last stretch. So we've got to put in the work and prepare and take the field game day and continue to still be aggressive.
Jeff, you mentioned using the bye week to get healthy. What's the status of Jawar, Renato, and Jarvis?
Well, unfortunately, Renato Brown hurt his knee in pregame warmups. Unfortunately, the field was slippery and wet. I'm not sure if that was some of the reason, but so he's had surgery. He's out for the year, and we'll try to get him back by the start of next season. Jawar, we want to get him healthy. He had a hamstring issue last week. We'll see where that goes. Jarvis had a foot issue that has flared up on him a little bit. We got to try to get him back to the game field. I'm hopeful that we can this week, but we'll see as this week progresses.
If am I correct that maybe you're a little frustrated with some of the calls in that Pittsburgh game? When do you get any feedback from the league on some of those things? I mean, the one interception that looked like the receiver was bumped, stuff like that.
But no, I did not like a lot of the calls. It's not the first time that's happened throughout my past, but I thought this game, some of the calls didn't go the way we would like. We've had discussions with the head of the officials and gotten productive feedback that we have to adjust and go forward. There were a couple calls that really hurt us that I can't comment on what they told us in return, but I think some of them are obvious. But they miss some. They make some. Sometimes they go the way. Sometimes they don't. So we just have to adjust. And I know they're doing the best job they can. But throwing the ball in some rainy conditions, I thought there were some questionable calls that hurt us. Whether the head of officials agrees or not, we got to continue to be as productive as we can and adjust to whatever's being called.
Yeah, you take the week off obviously to get healthy, but you also have time to kind of analyze on where you're at. Where do you think after 7 games your team is compared to where you thought it would be at this point in the season?
Well, I think that our guys have worked hard. They've competed. We've found a way to win close games to get to where we're at. Would we love to have the last one back? Sure we would. But at the same time, we probably won 3 games by the skin of our teeth that I'm sure the other team would like to have it back as well. So we have to be realistic in that approach. We played some really good football against Notre Dame that gave us a big win, and we didn't follow it up with a great performance. You know what? like I know it's boring to say, but it's a one-game season, and if you don't play your best every week in conference play, you're not going to win. You see that every week. It happened this week with other teams. So I just think identifying our mistakes and what we can get better at, and the turnover battle is crucial. I just think I'm not for sure. We might have got inside the 30-yard line 4 times in the second half, didn't get any points. You're definitely not going to win in that compartment. I saw a stat yesterday: the Falcons and Desmond Ritter and those guys didn't score inside the red zone 3 times, and it's the first time you won a game since 2000 doing that. Well, we definitely had a bad day in that category. And then being aggressive on defense, but trying not to give up too many big plays is important. And then I just think there's a lot of areas to improve on, and we got to get better as coaches, make sure we're putting our players in the best position to succeed, doing what they do well, helping them have success, that adjusts and adapts every week, and we just got to make sure that we continue to know the right combination of being aggressive but yet safe. You look at the Notre Dame game, we were aggressive on defense, but we were efficient, and I wouldn't say overly aggressive on offense, but we took care of the ball. We kept us in the game. We made plays when we had to. So I just think having that perfect balance is important, and winning those small details. In football, you got to win the small details and turnover battle, and third down conversions and giving up big plays is some of the things we need to get better at.
Jeff, what have you seen from Duke, the impressive win over NC State with their backup quarterback? Obviously, Riley Leonard makes them different. You don't know whether he's going to play or not, and their defense is pretty good.
Well, they're stout on defense. I mean, you look at it right here. They're 5th in scoring defense, 2nd in red zone defense. They're ranked high. They play a solid brand of physical football that keeps the ball in front of them. They do some really good things up front in running games and stunts and creating some havoc for you for your offensive line, and they've just been very good. I think until the Florida State game, you could hardly score any points on them, and they kept that game extremely close to the very end. And then on offense, they've been efficient, and that's kind of what they're about. They've got an experienced quarterback who can run as well. They run the football with some physical backs. They get in manageable third downs. They try to win in the style they believe in, which is playing great defense and a solid running game and taking care of the football. So I just think you got to understand what they're good at. You got to figure out a way to defeat that. But they've been very good to this point. They're well coached. Coach Elko's done a very good job. Well, without question, they're a different ball team with him. He got a ton of experience. He can throw the ball, but yet he's really good running the ball and the run game as well, and efficient getting the ball to his receivers and not turn it over. So without question, his experience factor back there and his ability to execute the offense gives them a high level of expertise that that position really needs, and he's a really good quarterback.
Kind of going back to the loss to Pitt, maybe benefit's not the right word, but to have a bye week after the first loss of the season, how does it make it, I guess, easier for you guys to hone in on some other things with that extra time?
Well, like I said, it's good to get guys fresh. It's good to get guys kind of refocused. It's good to kind of understand that any given week you can lose if you don't come ready to play. So that part's good. As far as enjoying the bye week, it has not been good because we had a loss that was not fun. But you identify things when you lose. You realize you better get back to paying attention to the details and being extremely efficient in not only our preparation but also the execution of it on game day. And I thought the first half, every time they scored, we responded, went in with a 21-14 lead, and then unfortunately didn't perform well in the second half. So we just got to look at that and make sure we're doing whatever we can as coaches to help out. And then, of course, when we get to that point, the execution has to be better, and really the turnovers hurt us in the second half.
Kind of going off of that, obviously there was a big high of just being 6-0, beating Notre Dame, just starting off conference play really well. What do you feel like the guys have learned in this amount of time, or what I guess, differences have you seen in them in terms of kind of trying to get this thing back on the winning side?
Well, I think they've were as disappointed as all of us in the loss, and I'm pretty sure it hurt them pretty much, which it should. And I think they care. So the issue is we got to get refocused and dialed back in. We got to realize that we're playing some good football teams. That these games mean a lot each and every week. And while we got off to a good start, it means nothing. Really, you're judged on how you do at the end of the year. So we've had some tough battles that we've found ways to win close games, and I guarantee we're going to have more. And we've got to make sure we dig deep as coaches and players and find a way to win, all the close games we play.
There was a story this weekend that quoted Open Doors as saying the average starter in big-time football is making $103,000 from NIL. Do you think that's accurate? And if so, do you think Louisville is competitive at that level?
Well, those are details I'm not for sure on. Obviously, NIL has become a big part of football. I'm all for players benefiting as much as they can, and I think our university does a good job of competing in that compartment. And I think we're positioned to move forward each and every year.
You guys have been good on third down defense. Is there something specific that sparked that success so far this season?
Well, I think we have been aggressive in our approach, and that part has been good. And I think once you do that a lot, you've got to understand that people are going to study you and what you do, and you have to make sure you have enough safe calls as well that you're able to mix in. So we've done some really good things. The past game we got beat over our head a lot more than we had in the past. So obviously you've got to either fix those or dial some things back or be a little more creative in our approach with that. But we do want to err on being aggressive. But, we have some things to shore up to make sure that we're not being obvious in our tendencies because in the end we want to give up as few points as we can.
Jeff, without Renato, Austin moved in there for the Pitt game, and I think he had played quite a bit of snaps against Notre Dame. How do you look at that rotation now, and do you try to get someone else kind of in the mix, behind them? I know you had said you don't want all five to play the whole game.
Well, I think Renardo has done a really good job. He's got a really bright future. It's unfortunate what he had happen in pregame warm-ups, but it did. So he's been in better spirits now after surgery, and he knows he's got to rehab and get better. I think Austin has worked hard. He knows his number's called now. He's got to get in there and not only be a guard but a backup snapper for us. Brown has been battling through injuries as well. We're hopeful to get him more healthy for this next game. And we have guys that are close to going in, and we've got to figure out ways to make sure that whether we're getting them in the game and playing 6, 7, 8 guys or whether they're extremely close and we need to put them in. And that's kind of been what we're trying to balance, is making sure we have our best guys out there for every series. Every series is vital to success and scoring points, but we also want to continue to build the depth in a proper way while still trying to win the game.
Okay, go ahead.
Jeff, is Jawar, did he practice? Was he getting treatment all week? I mean, what kind of you have a percentage on the likelihood of him being available?
Well, some of those guys, they're doing work on the side rehab-wise and trying to crank up the running speed and crank up the velocity so that they feel comfortable. So with him, as far as football practice, no, he did not practice last week, but he did some strong rehab work on the side on the field. That continued yesterday, and then we'll gauge where he's at this week. I'm always hopeful that we can get him back, but until I see him practice football in a normal setting, I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
In addition to having guys get time off, I'm sure you look at film and stuff. Have you considered making any personnel changes at all in the lineup?
We always look at our personnel, and we're going to try to play the best guys we can to help us win. I think, yes, we've looked at it. I don't see any major changes happening here soon. We're really always trying to play more guys and build depth, but at the same time, those guys have to prove they're ready to go and be very dependable, and that we can trust them to make plays. And these guys care, but I don't see any major changes in the personnel department.
Jeff, at what point do you, with the 3 home games coming out the way the schedule is, you're in the mix in this ACC race, do you start talking about that with the team? Do you focus, or is it too early? Is it?
You know what? I don't spend a whole lot of time talking about what the end result could be at the end. Now, we understand, and we talk about that we have a lot of goals ahead of us that we need to work hard to accomplish. And obviously, when you lose, the chances of getting those get less and less. I think we put ourselves in a good position now that, if we can find ways to improve and finish strong, then maybe good things happen at the end. But for us, if we can just put all our focus on Duke and making sure we're getting prepared to play, because we're going to need to, and figure out a way to come out with a win, then you get closer to your goals. But if you can't win this next game, then obviously then you got to regroup and just fight and battle for the next one.